This video was recorded live before a canned studio audience. It's Friday Night Movie Reviews, and here they are, Chris and Keith.
Oh, thank you. Thank you so much. I'm Keith.
I'm Chris.
And this is Friday Night Movie Reviews. We went and saw another movie over the weekend, and we are going to give you that review right here, right now. Well, not live. We're pre-recorded. So we're going to give you that review right now, right here. We went and saw the movie Smile 2.
Yes, the sequel to the 2022 movie called Smile. Just as a fact of warning about this movie, definitely watch the first one before you watch this one if you're thinking about it.
Right, because this review is a continuance of our Halloween themed reviews that we're doing this month, because the end of this month is Halloween. So it's a good terror kind of theme, and he is correct. Chris is very right. If you want to go and see this movie, if you want to pack up a whole bunch of friends and go and watch this movie just for scare purposes, then you want to watch the first one first, because if you've never seen it. Now, if you've seen it, then you have a general idea of what's going on. But if you've never seen it, this one is not going to make a whole lot of sense until way later on in the movie, because they don't explain anything until later on. So watch the first one if you have never seen if you've never seen the movie.
Yeah, this one literally picks up right where the last one leaves off.
Right.
You see the ex-boyfriend, who's a cop from the first film, right where the cliffhanger where the first one ends. So that's why it's so pivotal that you see the first one before you see the.
In fact, without giving too much away, now this is another one of those movies where we can't really talk about it too much, because if we do, we're going to spoil something, and I know a lot of people just don't like spoilers. I know I don't.
Yeah.
So we're not really going to say a whole lot about it, but this is not really going to be taking anything away from the movie. This one literally takes place 6 days after the first one ends.
Yep.
It mentions that right at the beginning. So we're not really giving anything away.
And anything else, we're just kind of giving, an overview of the movie as far as what you've seen in the trailers if you haven't seen them. So we're not really giving anything as far as that away.
Right.
This one stars Naomi Scott. She, we won't tell you how she ends up getting the curse from the first movie, but she does pick it up somehow. Go and see the movie to determine that.
Right.
She's a pop star called, was it Sky Riley or Riley Sky or something?
Sky Riley.
And so she's a made-up pop star, but in real life, she actually is a singer and an actress, so she was perfect for the role, because they really needed somebody that could sing to be able to pull this off, because you do hear her singing multiple times in the film.
And she's kind of like a mix between a lot of modern pop stars, like Lady Gaga, kind of Miley Cyrus, sort of.
Yeah, it's kind of an amalgamation of like all of them put together.
Right. Think of any of the female pop stars that are like your favorite, and she's kind of a conglomeration of all of those pop stars together.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the kind of style of music that she has. But it's really just this movie has a lot of jump scares in it. A lot of jump scares.
It really relies heavily on that, more so than the first one. The first one had a couple here and there, but this one, they're like, oh, this is a sequel. Sequel, has to be ×2 from the original. So they really put the jump scares in there. The other thing too, there was something prevalent right from the beginning of the film, and it really stayed throughout the course of the film, was the language.
Oh my gosh.
This one is. The first one had it here or there, but this one really put the pedal all the way down on the floor.
Yeah, it's like I mentioned to one of the managers who was asking at the theater, who was asking us if it was good. I said, yes, it was, but if they were to bleep out all of the foul language in it, it would be a silent movie, and that's no exaggeration.
It's literally almost every other word.
Yeah, you would get a word here or there.
Yeah.
Literally.
Yeah.
So you definitely, if for no other reason, you definitely do not want to take any kids to see this movie. I would even say, hey, let's let's leave the 17-year-old at home.
Yeah, I mean, it's just it's littered with it. I could not believe it was such a stark contrast from the original. And I get it that this movie wasn't just about like the horror, situation that they're going through with the curse, but it was also kind of a commentary on how the pop, the music scene is, and
Right.
how those people talk to one another. It really was a commentary on that as well.
So it kind of stays realistic to, it kind of stays a little realistic in that respect.
But as
But
far
it was
as
like, to me, it was
too much.
too much. I mean, they could have left that out or trimmed it back a lot, and it still would have been just as effective.
And they do up the gore. Like I said, I recently just rewatched the original, and the gore in this one is a lot more than the first one.
Yeah.
You kind of get it here or there and a little bit in the first one. This one, they're like, oh no. Again, with the language, the jump scares, they're like, oh no, we need more gore in this. And
Yeah.
the gore's not really the problem. It was like you said, it's the language. So
It's kind of like Christopher Walken with the cowbell.
yeah.
We need more foul language. And we've got to have a little bit more gore.
And they do.
And they do. They really ramp up the language and the gore in this
I
one.
will say this though, it got a lot of great audience reaction. We had a very big rowdy audience for this
Oh,
movie.
yeah.
A lot of younger people, so this movie does skew a little bit more towards the younger side. There wasn't as many older people in the film watching the movie. I mean,
Screams.
lots of screams.
Yeah, people.
So,
The audience screamed.
and it was just random. You'd see it here or there, and the reactions were great. So
Even somebody that went and saw it with us, not us, but somebody went and saw it with us, screamed.
yeah, I remember this one guy. There was a couple, and the guy in the couple kept covering his face.
Yeah.
And his girlfriend next to him was laughing the whole
Yeah,
time.
yeah, that was funny.
So the movie, as far as that goes, delivers. Like, it is a good like party movie if you're bringing like a group of people to watch it. It does have that aspect
oh
to it.
yeah, oh yeah.
So if you're looking to bring like a bunch of groups of mommy and daddies to see the movie, yeah, you're gonna have a good time. Just
Make sure you
got
find
everybody-
that babysitter.
Yeah,
You
that's
do not want to take kids to see this one. I mean, okay. Language and gore aside, this movie deals with kind of a spiritual sort of thing, and it's something that you don't want kids watching because it does have it's got some spiritual horror to it.
It does.
So-
yeah. This movie, in a line, if you've never seen Smile or Smile 2, movies that kind of relate to this one is The Ring, The Grudge, It
Right.
Follows,
Right.
where you're dealing with like a cursed entity of some kind and you
Right.
can't get rid of it. That's where it's kind of in line with those movies.
Right. So, just to kind of keep it very brief, basically what the movie is about, there is, like Chris mentioned, a cursed entity that is passed along from person to person. And that is really all we can say about the movie except for the language and the gore. Because if we mention anything else about the plot, if we mention anything else about what happens in the movie, we're going to be giving stuff away left and right. And we really don't want to do that. So, language, gore, don't take the kids.
Lots of jump scares.
Jump scares galore. So if you are a fan of jump scares, you are really going to love this movie. And it does, I don't want to take away from the creepy element of the movie.
Oh,
because,
it's there.
because
Like,
this movie has some major creep factor going along
it's
with it.
interesting because it's creepy on two fronts, because you get to see the creepiness of what a celebrity goes through. Then you get to do with the creepiness of this cursed entity that's also out there a bit doing its creep thing. So you get twofold there. That's why it was interesting to see that parallel, to
Right.
see a celebrity go through this instead of just like the lady in the first movie being a psychiatrist. So,
And it makes you kind of think, well, hey, it kind of messes with your mind and makes you think, so is that what's happening when so and so freaks out and throws things and pitches a fit in front of the audience and stuff like that. It kind of makes you think that,
Yeah.
you know, when
that's
they
the way it comes across in the film.
Yeah.
And I think that's why that was so cleverly done, picking it to be a celebrity with, you know, and it could be the music industry or whatever, but just the fact that it was just a celebrity, you're like, you think back to all these celebrities that have like a fit on stage or something, it's like, okay,
like the guitarist for Cinderella throwing a bottle out at the audience. I mean, I know that was kind of provoked because the audience member threw the bottle out,
you know,
but you know, things that other stars have done and said when they got up on stage that just kind of, you were just kind of like, what? I mean, it sort of you watch this and you're kind of like, oh, is that what's going on? You know, it kind of makes you wonder.
Yeah, absolutely.
But so we're not going to give anything away. I mean, that's about all we're going to say about it because, like I said, it's one of those kind of movies.
Yep.
So if we go to our rating system here, was this movie worth the time?
Yeah.
Was it worth the cash, or is it trash? Personally, I would say that this movie is probably worth the cash. If you are not too strongly against the strong language and the vulgarity that's in it. If you're just one of those kind of people that's like, you know what, I just can't put up with the cussing, then you might want to stay away from this one.
Yeah. You know, it's one of those things where I've just seen like Scream that's littered with the F word here and there and whatnot. So I'm a little bit more attuned to it because of that, but it was a little much in this one.
Yeah,
it just didn't fit. If you've seen the first one, it's not consistent with the first movie, and that's where it was kind of hard. And you know, the only justification I could find for it was, again, this was the music industry, and it was those kind of people, and that's the way they talk to each other,
right?
And that's the only reason I could justify the language being in it. So if they and they do set it up without spoilers, they can make another one. Let's put it at that. You know, this is a horror movie. You know, it's like Friday the 13th has had 12 sequels at this point.
And if you say Friday the 13th is going to have another one, it's really not that much of a surprise.
So, you know,
this one is kind of the same way.
And this one made about as much money as the first one did its opening weekend, so it's like right on par with it. So as long as they don't lose money and it doesn't cost them to make horror movies as much as it does like a blockbuster type movie like Deadpool, Wolverine, so they can take more chances with horror movies than they can other franchises. Right. So there probably will be another one after this, but yeah, I agree. This one's go see this one in theater. It was a good crowd pleaser, and sometimes you go to the theater more or less today because of streaming. You know, we watch a lot of stuff on streaming, but you don't get that crowd experience watching it at home.
And this one you kind of really do need that crowd experience, if for no other reason of, you know, everybody all screaming together and having fun screaming together. If for no other reason, just setting up the feeling of, well, it's a pop star. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
A pop star, and you're part of the audience, and the bigger the audience, the bigger the attraction to it.
And it makes it more realistic, like you're really in that crowd in front of this celebrity.
Right.
So definitely worth your cash to go see this one.
Yeah, this one is worth the cash. So let's give it a rating.
Okay. How many popcorns you give it?
I would probably, so the biggest detriment in this one is going to be the language to me, because it was just so littered with it. I'm sorry, I'm going to have to give this one, and hear me out. This is a good movie.
Mm-hmm.
This is good. It had some good creep factor in it. It had some good jump scares in it. And overall, this movie is really good. But I can't, because of the profuseness of the foul language in it, I'm going to have to give this one about 6.5 popcorns out of 10.
Yeah, I feel the same way. The language was distracting for me. Like it was like they almost put it there just to put it there. Like even with the justification of it being people in the music industry talking like that, it was still just very distracting, because you're trying to enjoy a creepy scene and then every other word is this or that, and it just takes away from the film. And it shouldn't be to the detriment of a film when you add language to it.
Right. And there are numerous scenes where there's not even any conversation It's just somebody screaming a foul word over and over and over again.
Yeah, it was just unnecessary. And I get it. Like I understand why they did it, but still they could have cut back on it.
It
So
was distracting.
so I think 6.5 is actually very accurate for this movie. So yeah, I'm gonna have to give it 6.5 Pepsis out of 10, just solely because of the language, and I think the overuse of jump scares too. Like I'm one of those people that I want to just be creeped out. Like just the entity itself is creepy.
Right.
I don't need you doing the loud jump scares, all that kind of stuff. Like I understand one or two there for cliche reasons you put it in, but other than that, I would limit how many you do.
Right,
You know,
and not just that, but the imagination works a lot.
Oh.
Works a lot to make things a whole lot more scary than they actually are.
Oh,
Which
I
is the reason
totally
why
agree.
movies from like the 50s and everything were so horrible to the audiences then, because they didn't show all of the stuff like they do now. And so they left all of that stuff up to the imaginations of the audience, and that's why they were all so terrifying. Now, if we watch them today, we're just kind of like, ugh. Really? They thought this was scary. They had women passing out in the audience watching this. Oh, whatever.
Like I've literally seen an axe go through somebody's face in a movie at this point,
Right.
and they're just scared of Boris Karloff staring barrel into the camera,
Right.
and he's just got like the green makeup, even though it's
Right.
in black and white. We know from fact it was green,
and
but he's just staring. He's just staring like at the camera, and they're doing the long pan shot of him, and they pan in towards his face, and that's all it is. Like it,
Right.
but back then it was horrifying to them.
It was horrifying. So a lot of things left up to the imagination are worse than showing them outright. But this movie does a lot of that, a lot of showing things outright. So, but yeah, the language was really, we keep kind of harping on that, but I just kind of want to warn you guys that is a factor in this movie. So if you are really just totally against harsh language, then this might be one that you want to wait for it to come out on streaming
Yeah.
and watch it on a streaming service.
Yeah, wait till the kids are in bed so they don't get earshot of this movie, because, like I said, it's almost every other word. It's
Right.
it's like I said, it's distracting.
Right. All right. Well, that's our cue to go.
Yep. Remember to like, share, subscribe. Remember to hit that bell for the notification for when our next video drops. Leave a comment in the comment. What did you think of Smile 2? And if you have any other suggestions for future videos, please let us know. Thank
Right.
you.
We'll answer you back for sure. We love it whenever you comment about us. Hey, listen, you guys, tell your friends and family about us. We want more subscribers, and we want more people coming and watching our show. Spread the news. And listen, pack up your stuff, pack up a whole bunch of friends, and go watch this movie, because it really is worth watching. Enjoy your movie. Have a good night.